What's up, fam? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Isabella Awan, and you are watching Adulting with Bella. If you're a returning subscriber, thank you very much and welcome back. And if this is the first time of watching any of my videos, so you're just yet to subscribe to my channel, please go ahead, look down below. You will see a red subscribe button. Please click on it. Thereafter, hit on the notification bell just beside the red subscribe button so that you can be amongst the first to get notifications of my videos whenever I drop them. Permit me to welcome you to yet another Personal Finance 101 series with Bella, and today we would be talking about a very interesting topic. If you can remember in my previous videos, I have spoken about different sources of incomes that you can leverage to expand your earnings, and I have also spoken about the different unfortunate expenses that would come to take up this income that you have worked so hard for. And today I have decided to bring it all together by talking about budget. What is budget? Budget is simply your estimated income and expenditures from that income for a period of time. The way I would want this video to go today is that I would be giving you two different budgeting scenarios that would suit two different categories of people. Now, the first scenario would be for an average Nigerian youth that is within his or her first to third year of working and is single and living by his or herself. Now, the second scenario would be something very close to myself, and you would be like, but you fit into everything that you have mentioned in the other scenario. Yes, I do, but I don't consider myself earning the average salary of a Nigerian because I work for an MBB firm. So the second scenario would be something closer to my personal scenario. If you want to find out what budgeting for these two different scenarios would be or look like, stay to the end of this video. Budgeting has been one of the most difficult YouTube videos I have had to script and shoot. Not because I don't know what to say, but because I just wanted it to be as relatable as possible. And given the current Nigeria economic scenario and circumstances, hey, it is not smiling. I promise you, it was when I was scripting this video and trying to research things about budget and how much you spend on a particular thing depending on your salary. I was like, how do some of us actually survive every month with what we earn? And I'm like, see, I'm going to caveat this video. You might likely not be able to do every hook, line, and sinker of what is in this video, depending on your unique scenario. So your unique scenario might be that you might be single, but you have bills to pay for other people. Also, you might have like some personal things you're going through that require more money from you, or you may have other sources of income that may be used to like leverage off some expenditure. So whatever your unique scenario would be, you might have to adjust your budget accordingly. But I want to give you like a budget for a very simple scenario. Now, the most common method for budgeting is the 70-20-10 rule. Basically, this rule divides your earnings into three: the 70, the 20, and the 10. Now, the 70 represents your spending. So all the expenditure you have to make to keep body and soul together would fall under the 70. The 20 is most likely going to be your savings, while the 10 is to achieve personal goals that could vary. It could be paying up loans if you have any, but I don't think that's a very common thing in Nigeria. So I would say your 10 could be things geared towards you're trying to like maybe build investment portfolios, you're trying to diversify your sources of income. So just personal things like that, you could take the 10 for. Also note that it is okay to interswitch between the 20 and the 10. That is, depending on how your personal goal is, your personal goal could take 20% of your salary, while your savings could take 10% of your salary. So you can always feel free to switch between these two. I feel like the 70-20-10 rule doesn't really break down expenditure into the things you have to know. So because of that, I think I wouldn't be using that rule to explain this video, because sometimes that rule doesn't even work for a lot of us living in Nigeria. So let's dive right into the video and see what budgeting would look like. The first thing for budgeting is to actually know your monthly income. So I would be talking of budgeting based on monthly earnings and monthly expenditure. So you need to know what your monthly income is. If you have just one source of income, that is a 9 to 5 job, it is very easy for you to know what your monthly income is. Just take whatever your gross pay is. But if you're a freelancer or you are a business person, it is very difficult for you to determine what your monthly income would be for a particular month. Therefore, you will need a special technique to determine this, and this technique might take you up to 3 to 5 months to actually come up with a proper number. However, this video is not for tips on how to create a wonderful, fantastic working budget. I will do that video subsequently after this video. But for today, I just want to talk about what your budget would look like. For me, I'm going to let you guess whatever you think my monthly income is. However, I don't consider myself to earn the average income of Nigerians. While the other scenario which I would be talking about, which is the average single Nigerian within 1 to 3 years working experience scenario, I would be using the gross income of 200,000 naira every month. Does that look too much for you? Do you think an average Nigerian with 1 to 3 years working experience doesn't earn up to that amount or earns more than that amount? Let me know. If this number is just right for you, comment down below. So the first expenditure that will definitely come out from your gross pay is your tax and other deductions. So this one, you don't even have a say. You know why? Because it is government money. And for an average Nigerian earning like 200,000, your deductions, your tax plus other deductions might amount up to 15% of your salary. That means that about 30,000 naira might leave your salary every month as charges for what you might not even know except to look at your pay slip. For me, I get about 20% deductions from my salary every month as taxes and other deductions. You are aware that we are using the pay as you earn tax system in Nigeria. The higher your salary, the higher the percentage of tax you would pay. So these expenses actually covers your tax, your HMO, that's your health insurance, your housing scheme, your federal, how do they call it again, national housing scheme, pension, employee contribution. This is just me saying that if you are negotiating salary that you're going to be earning, please know what your net would be, because that is the money that is the credit alert you will get at the end of the month, not whatever gross they tell you. For freelancers, for market, for business people, for those who pay tax, great, they get these deductions. But for those who don't pay tax, don't worry, one day the government tax net will catch up with you. But I would want to just advise, this is just an advice out there, whether you're a freelancer or you're a business person, try to take out money for two main things. One, your health insurance. Two, your pension fund. You can go register and pay money into your RSA, that's your retirement savings account, every month. Now let's talk about the expenses that you have small control over. I'm saying small control because Nigerian economy is turning on its own and prices of things are going up, and you can't beat people for increasing prices of things. You just need to cope and adjust to it. So this one, we have the housing and utility. For most people out there living in Lagos, they might have to spend 20% or more of their salary on this thing. See, I've already said it that I am not a supporter of that 30% thing, because it doesn't work in Nigeria. Like, okay, let's do the math together. If you're earning 200,000 and someone is telling you to pay 30% of your salary as your rent, 30% of your salary would amount to you paying about 60,000 naira every blessed month. And 60,000 naira every month times 12. So that's 720,000. So how can you be earning 200k and somebody is asking you to go and live in a house worth 720,000 per annum? It doesn't make sense. Your gross salary is 2.4 million and you're taking out 720k for house rent. To me, I don't think it makes sense. So I am giving 20% for this amount. So that is, if you are earning 200,000 a month, your house rent will simply be 20% of 200,000. That is about 40,000 every month. So per annum you would be paying about 480. So let's just make it make sense a bit. You would pay like four, if you live in Lagos, if you live in a self-con of 350, 400, that makes sense. You would have to pay other charges like electricity bill, lawma fee, and some other like little things in the compound that might amount up to maybe 50k or thereabout. So to me, I feel like 20% of your salary should go into your housing and utility, and that makes sense. But personally, on my own side, I spend about 10% of my salary for housing and utility. You know why? Because I have refused to live where they asked me to live. Yes, I don't live on the island, so I have actually avoided spending a lot of money on housing and utility, but it has its downside, which I will discuss in another video. So I spend only 10% of my salary on housing and utility every month. The next very important expenditure that would come out from your earnings every month is your feeding. Your feeding for a single youth who earns about 200,000 naira in Lagos, your feeding could amount to about 15% of your salary. Well, for me, it is also 10% of my salary that goes out into feeding. And I will not lie, this 10% is a ridiculously high amount. Now, the next expense I would want to talk about is your personal and house care expenses. If you're earning about 200,000, this would amount to about 7% of your monthly income. And this covers just everything you need to take care of yourself, including your toiletries, your skincare, your hair products. If you're a girl, making your hair, just basically taking care of yourself would amount to 7%. However, for me, I spend about 5% of my monthly income. The next expenses I have on my list is transport expense. Now, you would be like, why transport expense? See, the fact is that transportation is like a very big deal in a state like Lagos. And I know people who spend almost 1,000 naira to 1,500 naira every day to go and come back from work. So for transportation, they tend to spend about 12% of their salary. And this amounts to about 24,000 naira every month for transportation. So let's say you go to work 20 times in a month and you have to spend 1,000 naira for the 20 days you go. So that's like 20,000 already. Then the 4,000 is okay, maybe you have to go to the shopping mall, you have to go to church on Sunday, and every other small expense like transport expense here and there. So I don't think 24,000 is such a high amount in Lagos, to be honest. But for me, I spend about 5% of my salary on transportation. And that's basically because I have my transportation fare to work covered, and also the fact that I tend to work from home some days. So I don't really have to worry about transportation going to work. It is even that expensive because I tend to use Uber or Bolt or InDriver a lot. So yeah, so for me, transportation is 5%, but if you're earning 200,000 naira in Lagos, the transportation would amount to about 12% of your salary. Let's talk about gifting and black tax and whatever you want to call it. So you know that part of your income that you earned the income, but it is for other people, or it is for any other thing like gifting, tithes, and all of that. I put 10% for both those that are earning 200,000 and for me. Now you would be like, if tithe is supposed to be 10%, are you not supposed to maybe pay black tax, that is send money home and all of that. Now let me tell you how I did this calculation. I believe that tithe is paid on your net income. If you are earning 200,000, about 30K has left your account already as deduction. So what you actually get is 170,000. So your tithe is supposed to be about, let's say, 17,000 naira for your tithe, right? So that is not 10% of your 200,000. So the other money on top is what you can use and do for the Christmas and Osho free. I feel like about 10%, but if you can minimize other costs to increase that, that's fine. I will not lie. I know that you would spend more than this, but it is 10% I put for myself because that's my limit. I cannot go more than that limit. But for you out there, you might have to go more than 10% depending on your unique scenario. Imagine you have to pay your sibling school fees, or you have to buy stuff for your sibling, or someone is sick. Exactly. Now, the next thing I had budget for is entertainment. So I put about 5% for entertainment. So if you can actually deny yourself some entertainment and give the remaining ones to your family, and fine, that works. So you can add that up to the 10% you're putting on that gift. But for me, I believe that you need to play as well as the way you work, and this helped me work better. So I actually like take out about 5% of my salary for entertainment. This could be going to the movies, going for swimming. Just sometimes most times I tend to save this 5% up over a month and just go for vacation somewhere in another state, or whatever your form of entertainment. It could be eating out, going to one luxurious restaurant and just having a meal time with your friends. Whatever it is you have in form of entertainment, please have budget for it. So for your savings, I would recommend that if you're earning like 200K, 10% of your salary should go into savings. That is, you're saving 20,000 naira every month. And guess what? If you can save 20,000 naira every month, the more you keep doing this, if you can save this for 5 years, your compound interest would blow your mind. Trust me. I'm going to talk about savings and how compound interest work in a different video. But if you can save up to 20,000 naira every month in a place that yields interest every month, that would be great. I think what is really common in Nigeria right now is the osusu. So you do contribution and every month somebody picks the money. I'm not a big fan of that because at the end of the day, you don't make any profit or you don't get any interest for it. So why not just put your money in a savings platform that would yield, even if it's 5%, 8%, 6% interest, that makes sense than you getting nothing. Now, finally, I have 5% for those earning 200,000 and 5% for myself, budget for personal growth and development. So basically, this is money I use in paying for Udemy courses, money I use for paying for Coursera courses, buying books, maybe registering for examination. And 5% for of 200K is about 10,000 naira every month, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, 10,000 naira every month, and that is enough for you to buy a Udemy course, buy books. I don't know if this video was really helpful, but I thought that I should actually talk to people who just maybe started earning, or they've not been getting their finance right. They've been seeing themselves struggling to pay for expenses and all of that. I think one of the things you need to hack is your budgeting. When you are able to hack your budgeting very well, you would find yourself paying for very important expenditures without stress. You won't stress yourself to do this. So yes, let me know if any of the numbers or the figures I called was ridiculously low or ridiculously high. Thank you guys for watching. I hope this budget would help you. I think what I would like to do for you is that I am going to create a link to an Excel where I can help you classify your different expenditures. Thereafter, I can help you draw up a budget of what you should spend on the different expenditure. Now, I am going to create this Excel in such a way that you can modify things. I will link it down below in the description box, maybe in the next video, not in this video. Thank you once again for watching. Remain blessed. I remain Isabella Awan, and you've just finished watching a personal finance 101 series on Adulting with Bella. Till I see you next time, bye for now.